Season of the Splicer, released this Tuesday on May 11th, and after playing almost non-stop for the past 4 days, let's talk first impressions on this season. Some big spoilers ahead, so keep that in mind. Alright, so let's start with story, since I personally believe that has been Bungie's strongest point in the past few seasons and DLCs, and I don't think that's changed in Season of the Splicer. The Fallen, or should I say Elixni, are probably my favorite race in the entire game, so having a season where we finally get to learn more about their society and them as a whole in the actual game and not just in the lore books is really great. Mithrax is already shaping up to be one of my favorite characters in the game, and I absolutely love that we're getting NPCs brought back into the spotlight like Lakshmi and Ikora. The starting mission of the season plops you into the Batsa district of Scourge of the Past, and to me, this is one of the more satisfying starts to a season that we've had in a while. It's only the first week so far, but I'm still really excited to see where the story goes and how it grows over the entire season. If it's anything like last season, I think it's going to be good. Bungie has been really spot on with what they've been doing lore-wise, introducing characters, and making your Guardian feel like we're not just looking at it from the sidelines, and like we're really involved in it. So definitely story this season, at least in the first couple days, looking really good. In regards to the gameplay loop, I went into this season expecting something really similar to what we had in Season 13, and I'd say I was about right. In Season 13, players would play core playlist activities for currency that they would then convert into some form of charge or token that would reward them with loot from the seasonal activity. This is more or less the same with some tweaks. In Season 14, players are given the Splicer Gauntlet and farm ether from either daily focus activities or just general mobs around the game. I do want to point out that don't bother farming the ether from like normal mobs. You get like no ether from them. Doing a daily focus activity gives you 75 ether, so just do that instead. With the ether that you get, you will then convert it into a key code that you use to open a chest at the end of the new seasonal activity, Override. Override is the new match-made 6-player activity that is very reminiscent of Season of the Undying's effects offensive activity. You'll load in, kill a bunch of ads, dunk some motes, and kill a boss. Very straightforward, not too long. I like it. I will say I wish there was a bit more enemy density in here so that I could really feel like I'm gaming out of my brain when I'm doing this, but it's still fine overall. I do think that the boss is a bit lame, but I know that there are 2 more versions of Override coming this season, so hopefully the bosses in those are different from this one, and they're a bit more interesting mechanic-wise. Also, the Presage-esque mission Expunge will be coming later this season. The loot this season is great. I really like the Tron aesthetic that the season overall has going for it, and the weapons kind of follow suit. They look great, they feel great. A lot of new perks have been added to the perk pool, and they're really decent as well. New trial weapons as well. I think it's good. On top of that, the seasonal artifact is looking really solid. Warmind cell mods, unstoppable grenade launcher. Oh yeah, I want to max this artifact as soon as I possibly can and use all of this. Okay, so loot, story, gameplay, all very solid this season. So, I mean, it looks like on paper, this is going to be a pretty good season. Bungie can kind of cruise for the rest of the season. We can enjoy the content as it rolls out. Sounds good. Not quite. Let's talk about some of the more negative things that are coming and have already come with Season 14. Alright, so let's get the big one out of the way. Armor synthesis. Now, before I go into the bad things about this, I just want to highlight the good things, because there is still some good, actually a lot of good, in the way that transmog was added. The UI for the transmog screen is amazing. It is simple, it is straightforward, it is clean. The shader system feels like it has finally reached what it was supposed to be from the release of this game. It is amazing, I love it. And I think maybe if they add like the ability to emote or like take out your weapon in this transmog screen, it will be completely perfect. But this so far is really, really, really good. So in order to transmog something, you need 150 synth strand, which you get from killing ads or just enemies across the entire game. You will use that 150 synth strand to buy a bounty which upon completion will give you Synthcord, which you will then take to the Loom and Ada and transfer it into Synthweave, which you can then use to transmog a piece of armor. It's a lot of synths. The problem with this is that 1, there is a cap on how much you can actually transmog per season, or rather how much you can earn to transmog. But 2, and this is the bigger one, there is a hidden cap on how quickly you can earn Synthstrand, which is the base material which allows you to buy the bounties. It was discovered that you can only acquire a single Synthstrand every 2 minutes, regardless of how many kills you get. You need 150 Synthstrand to buy a single bounty. This means that it is, at minimum, 5 hours of active play in order to buy one bounty. That's 25 hours for a full 5-piece set of transmog gear. And that does not factor in the bounty itself. So the fact that this process takes so long and is so convoluted, it just boggles my mind. I don't see the purpose of a cap if it's going to take 25 hours of active and dedicated play in order to transmog a single set of gear. It's already insanely grindy. Just let players grind it out. One or the other, not both. And it makes it worse that there is a silver alternative just sitting in the Eververse. Like, I get it, Bungie needs their money. They gotta make it somehow. But it feels really bad seeing that option just sitting there in the store and then looking back at the colossal grind that awaits free-to-play players. I think that either transmog should not have a cap or the grind should be changed, not both. And I really hope that Bungie considers adjusting it, but in reality, I doubt it. There were some new stasis aspects added this season. PvE, they're cool. PvP in this season, I am not even going to talk about that much because I have tried to avoid the Crucible since Beyond Light released. I love stasis in PvE. I hate stasis in PvP. This has not changed any of the seasons that have come out since it's been released. I have zero plans to play Crucible unless it is with friends, so I do not lose my mind. The stasis aspects have made it somehow even worse in Crucible. And I truly think that the Crucible is a lost cause until either stasis is, and yeah, this is a bit extreme, removed, or it's massively changed. Stasis at its core freezes people. That's not fun to play against. It's not fun to get frozen. It's just not fun in PvP. So either stasis has got to go, or it's got to be changed massively for me to even want to be like, oh yeah, I'll play some Crucible. Now, this is my biggest gripe with this season, and it is the changes to the pinnacle sources. Pinnacle cap this season is 1320, only going up 10 from last season, and the powerful cap for this season is 1310 now. This is not a problem, and I'd say that I actually prefer this because now I can just skip powerfuls this season because I was pinnacle cap last season. Just have to do pinnacles, don't have to spend all my time on the game. Great. I've been playing Destiny 2 since it released, and I'm going to be honest, I'm very tired of the leveling system that's in place, so this one is nice. However, Bungie. Deepstone Crypt released about 6 months ago. This is the flagship raid for Beyond Light. It will no longer give pinnacle drops. Why? Why is this a thing? This raid has only been out half a year, and it's already basically been vaulted. If you've run this raid in the past, you've got your gear, you got your weapons, there's no reason to run this anymore. High stat raid loot, it doesn't exist. I have not gotten a single good piece of raid gear since this raid has come out, stat-wise. Bungie stated on Twitter that they want Vault of Glass to be the main pinnacle raid source now. But why not just have both of these be pinnacle sources? Or, make Deepstone Crypt give pinnacles until Vault of Glass comes out. It is so strange to me that Crypt was disabled after only 6 months when Garden of Salvation went on for a full year. Now, I do want to say that part of me kind of sees why Vault will be the flagship raid moving forward, and that is because it is free to play. All players have access to Vault, whereas people who have Beyond Light are the only ones who can access Deepstone Crypt. fair enough that Vault will be taking over. But I don't think it should take over. I think it should be brought up, just like how Deepstone Crypt is. Both give pinnacles. Or, like I said, Deepstone Crypt gives pinnacles until Vault comes out. What is the main reason to hit pinnacle cap? It's GM Nightfalls and Trials. That's it. GM Nightfall already limits you. Once you hit pinnacle cap, you can't get any higher. Trials, I think it's the same thing. I'm pretty sure that the artifact is disabled in Trials. So, what's the harm in having 2 pinnacle sources? Okay. Ultimately, am I happy and excited for what is to come this season? Yes. I don't think that the negatives of this season outweigh the positives. And I think Bungie has managed to break their curse of releasing one good and one bad season over and over again. To me, this might be the first time we've gotten 2 consistent looking seasons back to back. Granted, it is only the first week, but it looks good so far. My main concern moving forward is whether or not Bungie will manage to release better seasons, or will we become stuck in a loop where the seasons become so similar that begin to meld together. Otherwise, I'm looking forward to the Tuesday resets this season and Vault of Glass. Overall, I'm still excited for this season. I think it's been a good start so far. It just really sucks that there's been so much going on underneath the surface, and it feels like it's taking away from the attention of the actual season. That's really all I got this time. Thanks for watching.